Vegas Pete served the house down boots. Houston, I'm deceased. I saw something I thought I would never see in a mainstream BL, and that too done so tastefully and tenderly. This truly is the best time to be alive and over 18. Hello, my lovelies. This is BL Fan Edits, and let's cry together because yet another KinnPorsche episode is over and done with. Now we are effectively left with just 2 episodes to air, and there is still no sign of the pool scene. I'm crazy excited for this episode 12 recap, so let's quickly begin with the recap first and then we will move on to the episode 13 spoilers. Should I just describe the whole Pete kissing Vegas first, then Vegas turning him around savagely and going down to eat Pete's donkey, while Pete is so turned on that he can't help but lick himself and call it a day? I mean, that's what the entire show was about for me. It literally started there and ended there for me. Everything else seems like such a blur and honestly insignificant in comparison to what these two gave us this episode. I can write 6 pages worth of analysis of that 2-minute scene, but we must stay focused, brothers. And look at the whole picture. And in that picture we have our main CP Kinn and Porsche, as well as adorable turned toxic couple Kim and Che. So let's begin with the first scene. Porsche has driven his younger brother Che to his new university where he has to take the interview round to get admitted. Porsche is proud of his baby brother and can't be more excited for him. Porsche hugs Che and wishes him luck for his interview. Che, however, has lost his motivation to go into music school. He has admired his mentor and idol Kim for the longest time, and he was one of the reasons he wanted to go to music school, to follow in his footsteps. But now that he has been betrayed by Kim, he feels like there is no point to all this. So he throws his resume in the trash and leaves the uni. In my opinion, Che is heartbroken at the moment, and what he did is an act of rebellion, because somewhere he knows that Kim wanted him to get into the university. Kim wanted him to succeed. So by doing this, he's taking his revenge on him. Sassy housewife Porsche, on the other hand, has all kinds of plans devised to keep an eye on his sugar daddy mafia husband. Arm, like the best friend that he is, uses his techie skills to help Porsche keep a track on Kinn's all movements. I honestly love that Porsche is so unapologetic about his jealousy and suspicions about his boyfriend Kinn. Kinn also allows him to be that way with him and puts up with every silly thing Porsche does to keep tabs on him because he finds it adorable and cute, because he knows that it's pure love from Porsche, and he also loves being fussed over like that by Porsche. Kinn meets the club owner he used when he was trying to hire Porsche as his bodyguard. Kinn had sent this club owner to Porsche's uncle to collect debt from him, which put pressure on Porsche to work for Kinn. Porsche hears this entire conversation and he can't believe that Kinn deceived him like this. He's boiling with anger right now. At the safe house, Pete has completely made himself home and has settled right in. He gets to see his crush Vegas's face every day, has the hedgehog for company, gets to eat delicious food all day, is able to rest without being in any kind of danger. What's not to love about all this? Pete is so unafraid and sarcastic with Vegas, it's honestly hilarious. Pete is reading a random book when Vegas comes in and asks, "Where did you get that?" To which Pete replied, "I guess I went out to buy it." I chuckled so hard at this. I see you, cheeky monkey Pete. Guys, this man has tormented him so bad, flogged him relentlessly with a leather belt, bobbed his head in food like he was playing bobbing of the apples, and still Pete has the audacity to ask him for his blood type, like a schoolgirl asks her crush for his blood type and star sign to check for compatibility. Pete is describing Vegas to a T, and that is starting to irritate him. When Pete says that people who keep hedgehogs as pets are hard on the outside but soft and sensitive on the inside, Vegas is shocked to hear this. It's like someone has caught him. Someone has seen the real him, so he immediately gets defensive and kicks the book away from Pete's hands, startling him. Guys, you will think I'm effing crazy, but I found Vegas so hot in this moment. My heart literally thumped when he did that and showed the sexy, angry expression. At this point, Pete and I are Vegas Sims and Vegas apologists, and we aren't even going to defend ourselves anymore. Kinn comes home to a fuming Porsche. He tries to go in for a back hug but is pushed away by Porsche. At this moment, Kinn's life flashed before his eyes, and you can truly see how afraid he is of losing Porsche. Kinn keeps apologizing to Porsche for his mistake, but Porsche is in no mood to listen to him. Kinn assures Porsche that he doesn't know why his father wanted to hire Porsche, but he will find out. I can see a 180 shift in Kinn's behavior towards Porsche. It's like after Tavan's incident, he cherishes Porsche more and can do anything for him. He's a lot softer and gentler towards Porsche, and we love to see it. Porsche and Kinn go to KinnPorsche to demand answers from him. KinnPorsche seems to already know what's in Porsche's mind and why he is here. KinnPorsche explains to Porsche that his friend was responsible for Porsche's parents' accident and he covered it up back then. He felt guilty towards Porsche because of it and thus wanted to bring him to the house to take care of him. As Porsche is cross-questioning Kinn's dad, Kinn places a sturdy hand on Porsche's waist just to caution him that he's talking to the head of the mafia. But Porsche is in no mood for anyone's bullshit right now. That veiny, strong hand placement on Porsche's waist was so freaking hot, and Porsche not caring about Kinn's warning and brushing him off was even hotter. Angry Porsche is really so damn attractive, I could literally die. Porsche tells KinnPorsche that he doesn't need his help and that he will no longer live in the house, which just goes to show that Porsche loves Kinn for him and not for who he is. He was never swayed by the luxurious lifestyle that came along with being Kinn's partner. He just wanted Kinn's love. At the safe house, Vegas is pretty upset because his pet hedgehog is terribly sick. Pete is a little bit concerned and surprised looking at such a human side of Vegas. Vegas rushes to take the hedgehog to the vet, and in his trepidation, he even forgot the keys that he used to tie up Pete on the bed. Pete notices the keys and immediately releases himself from the handcuffs and runs outside to escape. As he is escaping, he sees Vegas sitting on the lawn outside crying with the dead hedgehog in his hand. He runs but can't help coming back to Vegas. He has already developed a soft spot for his tormentor and he can't see Vegas sad. I think Pete takes pride in the fact that he's the only one that has seen this side of Vegas, this emotionally charged side, the side that he has never shown anybody else. And now that he has seen this side, Pete simply cannot let go. The farther he runs, the more he wants to rush back to him. And so he did. He came back to Vegas and sat beside him. At this point, Vegas doesn't care less that Pete is free from the shackles. He's just relieved that there is someone like Pete by his side to share his grief with. Vegas cries and cries like a little boy crying to his mom. The child in him wants to release all this pent-up frustration in front of Pete because he feels like Pete is the only one that cares to listen to him and understands him. Pete and Vegas hold a little funeral for the hedgehog, which Big is not happy about and is turning in his grave because even a hedgehog got a better send-off than him. This is truly tragic. Now he's wishing he was part of the second family. At least he would have gotten a proper funeral if he served Vegas instead of Kinn. Back in the room, Vegas asks Pete, "Why didn't you run?" To which Pete replied, "I don't know myself." I think this is the moment that Vegas knew what Pete really wanted and craved. Every time he showed anger on Pete, Vegas noticed the spark in him. But right now, when Pete didn't run away, Vegas got the confirmation he needed. Vegas says his dad gave him hedgehogs to raise since his childhood, and all of them died one by one. I think this is emotional manipulation at its finest. Vegas's dad gave a little child a whole-ass living being to raise, just to test how responsible he can be with them and expecting him to take care of the animal so it doesn't die. Who puts such a responsibility on a young child and induces this feeling of guilt when he's not able to raise it properly and it dies? When a parent induces a fear like that in his child, emotionally abuses and neglects his child, he's bound to become withdrawn and can develop psychopathic tendencies. Vegas is crying and telling Pete that in his life everyone ends up abandoning him. He then starts cursing and hitting himself, which is a classic coping mechanism of people who can't put their emotional pain into words, so they self-harm to make the pain physically visible. This is also an indication that the little child in Vegas is blaming himself for the death of the hedgehog. Pete stops Vegas from hitting himself. Vegas turns to Pete and asks him, "You think this serves me right?" To which Pete replies, I know you are sad, but you are freaking stupid to hit yourself. Now the sudden shift in Vegas's mood is really amusing to see. He stops crying, wipes his face, and looks at Pete with eyes that are equal parts terrifying and equal parts seductive. It's a scientific fact that grief makes a person horny, and Vegas is definitely feeling it right now. Vegas tells Pete that doesn't he like it when Vegas is all moody and upset like this? Pete is shocked hearing this statement. Vegas grabs Pete by his shirt and pulls Pete towards him. Vegas asks Pete how does he like it. The way Pete is looking at Vegas clearly shows how much he wants him. With Pete, Vegas has definitely met his match. Pete's mouth is denying it, but his eyes tell a completely different story. The more Vegas comes close to Pete's face, the more Pete wants to give in to his desires. Vegas tells Pete that with him, it's no fun if he doesn't give in. If you guys remember, Vegas had no problems trying to take Porsche forcefully before, but with Pete, he wants to do it with consent. This just shows that what Vegas feels for Pete is not something ordinary. Pete kisses Vegas first. Vegas smiles in relief and kisses him back harder. The way Pete is turned on right now, I've never seen somebody turned on like this. Pete is nasty. He's freaky. Look at the way he's licking himself while getting his buns buttered. Pete hands the rope to Vegas, indicating to him what he wants. Vegas ties him up and tenderly kisses him. Consent, check. Protection, check. Sober, check. Freaky deaky, check. Who would have known that the psycho couple would be more responsible and tender than the non-psycho couple? Who would have known? I just feel proud of them. I don't know. I just do. Kinn has begun living with Porsche at Porsche's house. Porsche worries how Kinn would be able to live here with him with none of the luxuries that he's so accustomed to. Kinn, however, doesn't care one bit about the luxury life. He just wants to be where Porsche is. I wanted to tell Porsche in this moment that this is the same guy who was even content to live in the forest with you. This house is a small change compared to that. Kinn's love for Porsche is limitless, and he would do anything to be with Porsche, even leave his old life behind. Time and Tay have come to have lunch with Porsche and Kinn. While they were cooking, Tay confesses that him and Time are not as happy as they seem. First of all, how am I supposed to feel bad for Tay when I don't even know what's the dynamic of their relationship? Have they been given any screen time to show us what's wrong with their relationship? I don't get how they can just throw a statement out there and expect us to feel for Tay. I mean, if I hadn't read the book and just by looking at the series, I can see that they're a happy couple and nothing Tay is implying makes sense. I just think that it was a little bit of a waste to give us such an interesting and good-looking couple and not giving them a scene or two in the whole series. KinnPorsche is at Porsche's house and he gives him the photo and address of the person who caused the accident of Porsche's parents. This was KinnPorsche's way of redeeming himself in Porsche's eyes. Kinn takes Porsche to that man's house and Porsche is about to go inside to kill him as he's full of rage looking at him. But when he sees that man's granddaughter coming in and playing with him, his heart softens and Porsche changes his mind. We all know Kinn would have supported Porsche in whatever decision he took, but Kinn was relieved to see that Porsche changed his mind. Because deep inside, Kinn knew that Porsche would not be able to live with himself if he killed that man today. This is not the kind of person Porsche is. Kinn still supported him unconditionally and told Porsche that he's proud of him. I don't think anyone in Porsche's life has ever told him that they're proud of him. These simple words mean a lot to Porsche. Porsche hugged Kinn tight and cried like a baby in his arms. Kinn and Porsche visit the same place they met for the first time. Kinn wants to erase all the deceit and lies he told Porsche to get him to be his bodyguard, so he reintroduces himself to Porsche. Porsche softly kisses Kinn and confidently introduces himself as the guy who loves Kinn and who Kinn loves. I love this line so damn much. It conveys how sure they are of each other and nothing could ever break them apart. Kim and Che's story on the other hand has taken a dark turn. Kim's uni friend informs him that Che did not attend the entrance interview and has dropped out. This shocks Kim because he had no idea that Che could do something like that because of him. Che, on the other hand, is acting the same way all of us has done at some point of our lives. He's changed his look and tries to go out with the wrong crowd just to prove a point. What he doesn't know is that Kim's love language is keeping tabs on people he loves. So obviously he knows where Che is and has been obsessively following him around. Che is doing everything he shouldn't do at his age, hanging out with older guys, drinking, and even trying out drugs. As the older guy was about to put a pill in Che's mouth, Kim barges in full of rage and pushes the guy away, punching him hard. Kim, please tell us, what is this magic power in your finger that just by pointing it at the guy he folded like a deck of cards? Not gonna lie, angry Kim is hot. I'm pretty sure Che would be like, yep, that's my daddy, bitches. Next we see Kinn judging Porsche hard for his choice of snacks. But Kinn is willing to try everything for Porsche, and so he tries one of these delicious looking fried bugs that I definitely want to try when I go to Thailand. I'm not joking, I'm definitely going to try one of these because they look mad crunchy, and I like to munch on crunchy stuff. Kinn goes to the washroom when Porsche's uncle suddenly comes and sits beside Porsche. After exchanging a few harsh words with Porsche, the uncle hands over a photo to Porsche. In the photo, Porsche's parents are standing next to KinnPorsche. Porsche's uncle says that he can tell Porsche everything about the photo and the connection between KinnPorsche and his parents if Porsche gives him money. And that's where the episode ends. This was another mind-blowing episode that I thoroughly enjoyed watching from start to finish. But my mind keeps hovering around Vegas and Pete. The way they interacted with each other during the book reading, then Pete comforting grief-stricken Vegas, then suddenly the mood change and the dun. Safe to say, I absolutely cannot wait for Vegas Pete next episode. So in the preview we see that Vegas and Pete are lying side by side to each other. It means that they did the dirty again, and also Pete's scars have healed a lot. So that means they have been living together and doing the dirty for many days. I feel like in this episode, Vegas will voluntarily let Pete go to the main house. Mostly because he has fallen in love with him and it doesn't make sense to shackle him down and keep him captive when he has turned into his lover. So Vegas will ask Pete if he wants to go back and Pete will say yes. Pete will then return to the main family and act like he has just come back from his village. Porsche is shocked to see the photo of his parents and KinnPorsche that his uncle gave him. So he asks Pete's help in finding out the relationship between his parents and KinnPorsche. However, Pete seems very off these days and keeps talking about getting married to a woman and starting all over again. So Pete said he will help Porsche if Porsche helps Pete in finding a wife. One day, Porsche, Pete and other bodyguards were in a bar when Pete meets a beautiful girl that Porsche introduces him to. Pete is seemingly happy about it and exchanges line IDs with the girl. As Pete was doing that, Porsche comes out for a smoke. That's when Vegas catches hold of him. Vegas tells Porsche that he will help him in finding out the truth behind the main family and his parents if Porsche helps in stopping Pete talk to any girl or try getting married. Porsche can't believe what Vegas is saying. Vegas apologizes and cries for everything he did and sincerely tells Porsche that he loves Pete and Porsche has to help him in getting him back and not let him talk to any girl. Kinn, KinnPorsche and other bodyguards are in a big meeting where they discuss how to catch the second family red-handed. In 3 days, there will be a lot of movement and a lot of illegal merchandise will arrive. The second family was in charge of making a lot of illicit movements under the main family's name. So the main family have been trying to figure out a way to expose everything that the second family has done. It's too risky and too dangerous because it includes so many people they don't know. Porsche secretly goes to meet Vegas to find out more about his parents' relationship with KinnPorsche. Vegas takes him to the outskirts of the city to a new province to meet an old bodyguard of the main family. In the car, Vegas tells Porsche that he doesn't know what will happen to his dad or him. The main family might kill them. So he asks Porsche to take care of Pete. Vegas also says that even if he dies, Pete should not meet anyone else or Vegas's ghost will haunt Porsche forever. Vegas tells Porsche that Khunkon's father, Grandpa Agong, never liked Vegas's mother. Grandpa always treated the second family badly because his mother was just a secretary, while Khunkon's wife was a rich French woman whose father was friends with Grandpa Agong. Vegas's mother committed suicide in depression, but Vegas tells Porsche that he also wants to find out the truth behind his mother's death. The old bodyguard was in a very bad condition mentally and could only blurt out that he didn't mean to kill Porsche's parents and they didn't die by accident. They were shot in the head. Porsche is shocked hearing this. When he returned home, it turns out that Kinn had them followed and he knows that Porsche was with Vegas. Kinn is boiling with anger at this point and he doesn't trust Porsche anymore. I will leave the spoilers here because after this we only have one chapter to go and that chapter will be covered in the last episode. Many things will happen in the next episode, but I think it will mostly be focused on the development of Vegas-Pete relationship, Pete going back to the main family, and Vegas helping Porsche to find out the truth. So this was all for this week's KinnPorsche recap video. As always, if you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Love you all. Bye.